Well, hello my lovelies, it's Murky Meg here. Hello, it is Saturday the 22nd of May and well, what a day yesterday was, wasn't it? Media went absolutely crazy because the 5 episodes of the Me You Can't See Oprah and Harry mental health series dropped yesterday. I'm afraid to say that I had to sit through all 5 episodes and, granted, I did skip through the rest, but I did listen to the bits that Harry was speaking to Oprah about and the bits where he opened up. And it left me with a very distasteful taste in my mouth. The numerous lies that he is now peddling, the vitriol towards his family, the direct attacks, calling them neglectful, is downright obscene. So I'm going to break it down for you as much as I can. And I've actually reached out to certain people that have given me a great insight into what Harry was like in the army. Because, as I'm going to explain later on, he said a remarkable thing that he received no special treatment. Well, I'm going to actually blow that wide open. So please keep on listening for the tea. Now, as you would expect, this was Harry's time to get his point across because the Oprah interview with him and Meghan was really only about Meghan's point of view and how Meghan was feeling, and Harry only really came out the last 15 minutes. So we were kind of expecting this to be quite a bombshell, and boy oh boy was it a bombshell. I'm still reeling, to be perfectly honest. Harry reveals he had extreme anxiety throughout his childhood, throughout his adulthood while working for the royal family. He said that it was fight or flight and that whenever he was to go into an event that he would pour with sweat and he'd feel that his face was going bright red, and it was an extremely traumatizing experience. But what I don't get is that before marriage, the Queen offered both of them an out. They said you don't have to be royal working family members. She can continue with her acting. You can do with what you want. But they were the ones that pushed to be working royal family members. So this narrative of the victimhood of, I was trapped, they forced me to do it, doesn't wash with me. Harry said that pain is not transferred, it's transmitted. And it's basically rejection. He said that he started therapy 4 years ago and never thought that he would need therapy. And he said it wasn't an environment that he was in that encouraged him to talk about that. Well, I beg to differ, Harry, because in 2017, you, Kate and William all set up Heads Together. And in it, there's various videos on YouTube that actually says that you are encouraged to talk about it, that you talk with your family and it makes things better. So it's an out-and-out lie that said that you weren't encouraged. You set up a mental health charity. Why are you now saying that you couldn't talk about it? You had access to the best therapists. I don't understand. He said that he's always wanted to just be normal as opposed to Prince Harry. He says that he remembers being in the back of his mother's car, putting the seatbelt on. Why he said that, it doesn't make sense. He really said that quite clearly. He said, I put my seatbelt on, I was strapped into the back. He said, and we were hounded by paparazzi every time. He said, there was no protection. Well, yes, there was protection. She had a protection officer with her at all times. And this element of he just wanted a normal life as opposed to being Prince Harry, well, then drop your titles right now because you are using them at every single opportunity. If you just want to be Harry, then simply be just Harry, not the Duke of Sussex. Prince Harry. He also spoke about his anger towards his mother's death. Now, he says that while he was grieving for his mother, he was angry at the UK for sharing his grief. He says that she was my mother. Why would I have to share with the rest of the world? Now, I can understand that element of a 12-year-old boy. That is understandable. But he's not just any old 12-year-old boy. Surely that would have given him comfort that the whole UK, if not the whole world, was looking out for him, was reaching out to him, was caring about this little boy. But no, he felt angry at everybody because he didn't want to share his mum. Even now he says that he's very angry that there was no justice for what happened. Nobody was brought to justice over what happened. Well, in fact, it was actually because they had an inquiry and the paparazzi were found not guilty of causing the death of your mother. I'd like to also point out that the people you were in bed with the company, the media company that you are in bed with also were the ones that showed your mother's car crash. Yes, indeed. He seems to have forgotten that one. He says that because of the way that his mother was hounded by the paparazzi, he freaks out every single time he jumps into a car and hears camera clicks. This is all while sitting in his $14 million mansion being videotaped by huge cameras, and that privilege that he was given has enabled him to live a very, very wealthy lifestyle. But hey ho, Harry, that's not important. He said the only happiest time in his life was when he was in the army. Now here's where it gets interesting. Harry went into army officer training at Sandhurst in May 2005. He passed out in January 2006 and he was 10 years in the army as an army officer. Now, I don't know whether you all know about the British Army, but you have to go in as an officer to Sandhurst. There are certain qualifications that you need to have, one of which are A-levels, preferably a degree. Now, Harry does have A-levels, but they are very, very wishy-washy. He has a B in art and a D in geography. Now, much like any of the university system here in the UK, you have to have UCAS points, and each qualification gives you a certain number of points to enable you to either go into further education or whatever you need to do. Now, the army requires 72 points to enable somebody to go in to officer training. That's not basic training, this is officer training. 72 points. Now, Harry got a B in art, which gives him 40 points, and a D in geography, which gives him 24 points. That is 64 points altogether. Not quite the 72 you really needed for Sandhurst, hey Harry. So that's your first special treatment. And you know, the stories have been around for a very, very long time about during when he was in the army, what he was like. He was nicknamed Bunker Harry because all he did was play computer games and sit in his bunker. He was never really in harm's way, and I doubt very much that he was unprotected. But I've reached out to several people, put a tweet out saying that if you knew Harmy? That's quite an actually good word for him. Harmy Harry. If you knew Harry in the army, please do get in touch because I'd like some enlightenment. And in touch they got. Now I will say this, I've had a very direct message from somebody that says the majority of the army folk will not talk to you and they aren't fond of reporters or journalists. Harry did okay in the army, nothing outstanding, nothing particularly bad like most. He left partially because he was offered a regular career, not a cherry-picked one. This person says that he had a lot of support within military circles and respect from the lads. But that has soured, and a lot of people now hold him and his wife in contempt by most of us for their recent actions. He posted a thread, and it is what it is. It's basically they're all mocking him for his actions and they can't believe how henpecked he is. Basically, they think he's a sellout. But I have received some other direct messages. So, the first one, I'm not going to name any names. The first one says, he's a liar. He had someone eyeing his uniform while at Sandhurst Military Academy. No one else can go from officer to fly an Apache. No one else can be in charge of the Royal Marines and then give it up only to be handed a colonel of another regiment. He has a team of special boat service operators attached to him while in Afghanistan. He was absolutely useless as an officer on operations. Just one caveat there, he never actually flew an Apache, he was co-pilot. Big difference, but that's just semantics. Another person got in touch and said, my husband was stationed at RAF Honington, where Prince Harry did his training for Afghanistan. I work in the officers' mess. My husband is in the RAF police. He got into Sandhurst with 3 GCSEs where it should have been 4 A-levels at least. I've already covered that one. He had dinner laid on in the officers' mess, something no other visiting officer got. He was allowed to come into the mess for a shower when in the field. Again, all other officers stayed with their men in the field. There is much more I've heard through the force's grapevine. Things that happened and things he said to people. Some of it open knowledge, but some, as we say, kept in house. Something that you may find interesting is that his first tour was cut short because an Aussie paparazzi found out he was out there. He did not want to come home, but Prince Charles and the generals thought it would be safer for his men, that's not Harry, but his men, that he came home, as the Taliban had a price on his head. Another got in touch and said, so back in 2006-ish, Prince Harry flew out to the British Army base in Canada. My ex-husband was posted there, and so we lived there for 2 years. It was an unofficial visit. He was an officer, yes, but low-ranking one. In fact, in the normal army, the young officers never got called by their rank. They were junior. It was winter outside and it was -30. We were trying to do a school run and saw him ahead with his protection on an army base. His protection said we had to stop and cross over the street. We all had pushchairs too, and there was thick snow on the side of the roads. Thankfully, one of the mums with us was a Canadian commander's wife who politely said that if they required us to be on the opposite side of the street, then they could feel free to walk over there themselves. He had such an air of entitlement. He was giving the VIP suite to stay in when his rank in the army wouldn't give him pretty basic in comparison. A very good friend served with him in Afghanistan and said he always got the best of everything, was protected most, and yes, went to battle, but they were chosen for him. I'd also like to point out that Harry opens up about his drugs use. Now, he said that during the years between 21 and 31, he was taking a lot of drugs and drinking regularly. It does make me laugh that he said that he was binge drinking, a week's worth of alcohol, which is not very much, to be fair. I think we've all done that in our 20s. He said he drank a week's worth of alcohol in one night. Well, haven't we all, Harry? I did in my 20s. But the point is that he said that he was drinking and taking drugs. Now, drugs is the most important thing. He said that he was doing this between the ages of 21 and 31. But wasn't he in the army then? Were there no drug tests? What was going on? How on earth can you say that you were taking drugs while in the army? Publicly. So, I'm going to put this out there. If anybody else knows or has served with anybody that was with Harry in the army, please do get in touch. My email is here, or you can find me on Twitter and DM me. I really, really would like to blow the lid off this and hone down on this. I wasn't given any special treatment in the army because, as I've proved with the people emailing me and DMing me, and I've checked out their profiles, they really are the real deal. He had special treatment. How can he say he was just one of the lads? No, Harry, your special treatment and normal people's special treatment are two totally different things. You've been brought up with a silver spoon in your mouth. So your special treatment is probably the most VIP treatment that anybody could ever dream of. You are a hypocrite and you are doing damage to the monarchy right now. I'm going to end this video now because I've babbled on for at least 10 minutes. I've got so much more to tell you. So I think it's best if I do another video delving deeper into what Harry said with Oprah in the Me You Can't See. So I will see you in another video. And please bear with me while I get it ready. I'd love to know your thoughts on all of this. Were you serving with Harry? Was your husband or wife serving with Harry? Do you know somebody that served with him during his time in the Royal British Army? Please do get in touch because I really would like to delve deeper in all of this. As always, I would love to know your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell and also that like button. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my followers for all the tips and all the emails, DMs that everybody sends to me. It really is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for watching once again.